You play Marksman but don't understand why you keep dying? Don't know what to do when your roamer leaves you? Not sure what is your job as a farm or goal lane from the early, mid to late game? Don't worry, watch this video as I guide you on how to become a decent Marksman player in the farm lane with good fundamentals to sustain yourself from the laning phase all the way to the end game. First things first, you need to understand the Marksman types. Which ones are suitable for solo rank and which ones are suitable for duo, trio or full squad rank. Okay, let me split up the different types of farm lanes for you for easy references. For solo rank ready farm laners, we have heroes such as Arlie, Long, Marco Polo. This tree is insanely strong in the current meta. Marco Polo being able to win out the side lane, fight all the 1v1 fighters, and play this side lane marksman similar to Arlie, whereby Arlie has even stronger laning and can win out almost 1v1 any matchups, and also can play the side lane. Long is different and special, where he can play like an assassin to nuke the backline targets with his insane burst potential, and he has a decent laning as well, right? Direnjie, very strong, easy to mid-game farm laner, strongest laning in HOK for now, but his only issue is that he will lose out on the later stages of the game during late game. But if you talk about like semi-tank marksman that build the on-hit build, Direnjie is definitely one of the candidates to look out for as he's very strong and tanky. Consort Yu, I feel like this hero is strong as well, just that she loses out a bit when fighting against long-range mages, but once you hit that Succubus Cloak, pairing up with your spell 2, the Wind Chant equivalent, which is the Wind of Nature, on her spell 2, you start to be this OP hero where you can just run down most of the team fights without being like taking a lot of damage. So I think she deserves in solo rank okay, just that you need to play your laning phase safer. Flowborn Marksman, very long reach, has decent mobility from spell 2 resets, so I will put him here as well because very strong DPS when you go towards the late game with your ultimate. Channel, one of the stronger laners in HOK Farm Lane role, in the Marksman role. I feel like he deserves his spot in the solo rank okay as well. You just need to watch out for high level engages like Mai Shiranui. Ban that thing away and you should be fine. Lady Sun as well, very strong as the early to mid game, but you can get caught off guard very easily, so you need to time your spell 1 correctly and learn the combos of the burst potential. Finally, the last one in solo rank okay is Shouyue. A good Shouyue, if your spell 2 is very accurate, you win out a lot of these lanes because your spell 2, if you hit 2 of them, the enemy farm lane has to back off and go back to base. But his power spike comes up online when it's about like 2 to 3 items, especially when you hit the Daybreaker, and he starts scaling even harder from there where he just like 3 tap squishy during the late game. Alright, that is all the farm laners that are suitable for the solo rank role. Now, you talk about all these like Mengya, Luban, Huangzong, Erin, Houyi, Garo. All these farm lane marksmen have one thing in common. These gold laners, they have practically zero mobility to save themselves from the enemy engage. So if you imagine you play these farm laners, these marksmen, against high engaged compositions, you will get your ass engaged on multiple times and it is very difficult to play. But don't get me wrong, picks such as Luban, Huangzong, Houyi, Garo, and Mengya, they have insane DPS. But the only problem is they have no mobility, and if you have no friends to play with, your roamer throws you into the lane solo, you will get dove like 24 times, so I feel like these, you should play with a friend, and you will get the max value. And I feel like, Fang, Luara is pretty good as well. The only problem with these two is that their power scaling is a bit weaker compared to all the marksmen here. Mobility, not so solid for Luara, but her on-hit build is pretty good, such as the Direnjie build, which is the Sparks Forge, Doomsday, into the Defrost Siege. I think it suits her pretty well if you want to play the semi-tank playstyle, but the only problem is that she has no solid mobility as well. Compared to Direnjie, he's innately tanky, and he has a spell 2 that purifies CC and gets him to run away. For Fang, I think this is a weak side pick where if, let's say, your team does not want to play with you, you play this pick to counter picks such as the Long, so you can dodge away the Fire Palm when she slaps it onto you, or with your spell 2, but his power scaling is kind of mediocre. And finally, Alessio. For me, Alessio, he's strong laner, he burst squishies, but his mobility is an issue. And one more thing, he has a very weird damage against tanks. He doesn't do well against tanks, so that's why he deserves in the duo trio full squad. With a pair of all these heroes, with a Ming, with a Yarya, it will have much more effect compared to you playing it solo. And better in jungle, we have Agudo. I feel like Agudo right now, he or she fits more into the jungle role, so pick this Agudo into the jungle better. So now that you understand the difference between solo rank ready farm laners and like party farm laners, you will understand more on what we're going to talk about, which is the rotations coming into the video. In the early game of the laning phase, just remember a few things. Number one, no trading HP with the enemy if you do not know where is the enemy mid, roam, or a jungler. It is indeed the roamer's job to open the map, but it's also our job as a farm laner, the marksman, to look at the map and be cautious at all times. Number 2, the importance of farm lane is not to win the 1v1 by killing the enemy, it is to win in terms of last hit and getting the resources such as Firehawk, Firebeak, and Spiketail Beast, and making the enemy lose farm by freezing the wave or by pressuring them away from the wave. And number 3, do not be a kill heavy farm laner in the early game. Minion wave is way more important than a kill. A regular kill is about 150 worth of gold. One full set of minion wave with proper last hit is worth 200 plus gold. Here's an example of my gameplay as an Arlie in the early game. Small tip to get to lane faster, buy boots first, and once you walk until this tower, sell it to get the full gold refund. Check out what the enemy buys as their first item and decide whether your hero can win the trade 1v1 or 2v2. Now, since my roamer is following me, I'm confident as an Arlie with Frenzy to fast push the wave. My objective is to fast clear the wave to secure level 2 so I can quickly go for the Firehawk in the middle of the lane that only spawns once in the game. The enemy wants to fight us here for the Firehawk control, and both mid laners are currently occupied in their lane here, so it's a 2v2, and I have Frenzy, my roamer has heal. We have a 2v2 advantage here, hence we went for the all-in. We win the 2v2 with ease. Both the enemy mid and jungler has shown themselves on the map already. We can fast push this wave and secure the Firehawk safely. Here I decide to save my spell 2 in case the Firehawk gets stolen by consort, use spell 1 from afar. Up until this point, the early game is considered a very good start already, but this is a 2v2 matchup with the presence of a roamer following me as a marksman. What if I'm in a 1v2 scenario like the usual marksman? In this 1v2 example, when your roamer doesn't follow you and the enemy roamer has yet to show, do not hard commit on the trade or the minion wave. Here I see the enemy roamer show up, I immediately back off to the tower and wait for the wave to crash into me. Your job here as a marksman is to make sure you get all the last hits. Successful last hit gives you about 30% extra gold, so keep that in mind. Here I position myself slightly towards the Firehawk to get vision to look for a potential steal. I utilize the high damage of my spell 2, plus its ability to block enemy projectiles like basic attacks and spells to successfully steal it away. After that, since we're waiting for the minion wave to clash, we revisit back to the Firebeak here to get even more XP and gold. My jungler is pathing towards the clash lane, hence this jungle monster is free for me to take. Now, just repeat the process. No vision means no playing aggressive. Our goal in a 1v2 is to farm safely and wait for our teammates to come and help us. Staying alive and maintaining farm is the key in playing marksman. Now, when your team is near you, do not be afraid to look for aggressive trades to lower the enemy's health bar, but do not overcommit as well as the enemy mid or jungler can come and gank as well. So after this, we back off to this bush here to open up the map as we can immediately respond to any threats coming our way. Here we see a fight that's about to break out in the mid lane. We are a strong early game marksman, Arlie with Frenzy spell. We immediately look to assist our teammates, although we do not get a kill, but we do force key spells to be burned from the enemy here, and we pull away safely back to our lane for more farm. And so far, this is already a pretty standard 1v2 lane as a marksman already. Next up, let's talk about the mid game and how to play if you fall behind as a marksman. Moving towards the mid game, this is the timer around 4 to 10 minutes where you start moving along the map for farm and avoid multi-man ganks from the enemy. Let's take a losing early game as an example. I'm 1-3 on Arlie and we're losing 5k gold to the enemy team. Let me show you what you need to do to make an epic comeback. First things first is to look for farm until you secure core items. Usually marksmen start being active when they secure 2 to 3 items here, but you need to make sure how you farm. You need to farm safely without dying and ruining your farm tempo. The enemy Yao is extremely fit, so I cannot risk dying to him. Even if it's under tower, he will burst me immediately, so I wait for him to leave before collecting the minion wave. Now we head back to the jungle monster that's available to further increase our gold, and then rotate to mid for more minion gold. The purpose is to collect all available resources on the map to maximize your goal until you hit your core items to carry. Now, repeat the farming pattern of minion to jungle monsters to minion again. Make sure you walk safe paths. When we are losing, every death will cause you to get further behind, so we have to be extra careful. If we make a mistake, we will lose even more hope for a comeback, so make sure you focus and do lesser mistakes here. Even pro teams makes mistakes, and opportunities are for those who are prepared. Look at the map for odd number fights or pickouts for potential comebacks. Here, we managed to catch out the enemy roamer and marksman by following up on our jungler's flank. A quick 2 kills falls into our pocket as it further pushes us to our most important item, Daybreaker, the core tank shredding item for Marksman. Now for the late game at 10 minutes. Whoever fumbles here will lose his Shadow Tyrant or Shadow Overlord. Fortunately, we managed to outplay the enemy's most fed member, the jungler Yao. This allows us to go for the Shadow Tyrant objective, which is very crucial for endgame or comeback scenarios due to its insane combat buff. Securing the Shadow Tyrant allows us to start or react to fights more proactively. Here, the enemy doesn't respect our Tyrant buff, giving us a large teamfight win. With this teamfight win, we are already back to equal footing against the enemy, recovering from that massive early game disadvantage. Our immediate task right now is to fix up the side lane waves, stop the overlords from destroying our high ground turrets, and then we will start to push out the map that we played passively on for the past 5 minutes. This is the time for the comeback. Here is why Arlie is considered a great marksman. Her kit allows her to pick off enemies in such scenarios. We use our third finger to track the map for more info and go in for a quick assassination on the enemy mage. With that, we started winning back-to-back teamfights cleanly, securing our epic comeback. We went from 1 to 3 in the early game, all the way to 8, 4, and 12 MVP with a S-rated victory. So guys, do not give up on hope as all comebacks are possible in Honor of Kings. Congratulations on making it this far towards the video. Now you're ready to play Farm Lane, Marksman, or Goal Lane, whatever you want to call it in Honor of Kings. Drop a like and subscribe and see you in the next video.